All right, good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Lee Doubleday, and I'm the Director of Operations here at the Imagine America Foundation. I'm excited about today's topic, which is the benefits of career and technical schools, sponsored by Porter and Chester Institute. Porter and Chester Institute has 8 campuses throughout Connecticut and Massachusetts, and they've also been a 16-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 11,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation, how you can apply, how your students can apply for a scholarship to attend this institution, to our website, which is www.imagine-america.org. But since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation again is Porter and Chester Institute, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how Porter and Chester is helping meet this need is Jack Burke. Jack is a Director of Admissions and Marketing at Porter and Chester Institute and has been working with high schools for over 15 years, so you're in great hands today. But before turning the program over to Jack, let me outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum, with question and answers at the end of this presentation. All participants can and are encouraged to submit questions while this presentation is in session via the chat feature or the Q&A feature in this Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, I'll present all of these questions. We will have a hard close at 2:30 p.m. to be respectful of your time. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Jack. Jack, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Lee. Really appreciate that. And good afternoon, everybody. So I hope everybody's having an enjoyable afternoon, beautiful fall weather up here in New England. And I guess that's why we love New England so much. Actually, the whole East Coast. Okay, so you can see on the screen here, the subject here is Discover PCI. So many of you probably already know about PCI, particularly if you're on this webinar. And for some of you, this might be really the first time that you got introduced to us. So this webinar will be very valuable to either one because we've made a lot of updates. Every year we make changes and improvements and things. So I hope that you really enjoy the next 25 minutes. So let's kind of kick it off. The first slide here has our agenda for us. And it would basically, very quickly, welcome again. I just had welcomed you to the webinar itself, but I do really want to kind of make a little bit more than that. I do want to, just kind of communicate to you how much I do respect you. I respect you all very much. I am a member, by the way, of the Pennsylvania School Councils Association, both of the Massachusetts School Councils Association, both the Mass and the Western Mass, and then the CSCA, which is the Connecticut School Councils Association. And in this past weekend, actually this last Friday, I was invited down to New Jersey, to the New Jersey School Councils Association, and I was able to, participate in their one of their college fairs down there. So I really am really involved very heavily with high school guidance counselors, school counselors, right? And I do want to let you know, you hear it all the time. And when you hear it from professionals like myself and Lee and others, you know that it's really heartfelt. Is that thank you for everything that you do and helping every single student out there. Who's Porter and Chester Institute? We're going to cover it. What programs do we offer? We're going to cover it. There's 2 slides per program. One slide's a couple of comments on what this the program consists of, and the second slide has the tuition. It has the length of the program, and it has what the career outlook is for the next 10 years. Per the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. What is our process? Our admissions process is actually quite simple, and I'll touch on that. And then, as Lee mentioned, we'll do a little Q&A at the end. We love our spaceman here. Congratulations, and I do, again, just want to congratulate you on working so hard to graduate all of your students. Our mission, and my mission has been for many years, is to really make sure that we service all students, really helping as much as possible to have that student graduate from your high school. A lot of our students that we talk to, many come to our campuses, our 8 campuses in New England, and we have 3 campuses in PA under a different name, York Technical Institute. And that's great. And our school is full, and we're really grateful that we really flourish and that we continue to add new programs and such and grow. It's also okay if a student attends possibly one of our presentations or comes to one of our campuses on a group tour, or maybe I engage them on a webinar or something like that. That's awesome. And we're just, again, one other option. I mean, students may decide, hey, I want to go in the military. They may decide I'm going to do an apprenticeship program, some OJT. Maybe I'm going to go get a 4-year college degree or go to a community college. Either one of those are fine. We're just looking for a student that's a good fit for us. Good fit for them, good fit for us. And we look at that as a really great opportunity to partner with you and make sure that the students that really need to find us will find us, and the ones that don't will get some type of boost from us to stay in school, do the best they can, and then go on in life and be successful. Our URL right there is porterchester.edu. And when you go visit that, it has a real lot of information there for you, a lot more than I'm going to be able to give to you in a short period of time, but I will give you a great oversight. You know, it is okay to set your sights on careers in the healthcare field, the computers, and the skilled trades. And the 4 or more year majors at large college campus, they're not for everyone. And we all know that. Career education and training in 2021, 2022, 23, it'll be the same thing when it says 2029, is much more than a consolation prize. You know, it's just incredible how many, like Lee mentioned, it's so true, is how many contacts we get every single week, every single day, of employers calling in, employers emailing us, employees contacting our career services department. Do you have any plumbers? When's your next electrical graduating class? We're looking for nurses. Oh, it's just an ongoing thing. And it's fantastic because it really allows our students to kind of have a really great opportunity to go out and make some really good money. And that's really what we're about. We're about having a student come to school and get a career. So there's no GE requirements here or anything along those lines. And it's a really very valuable source of education. We have a lot of students come back to us that have a 2-year degree. Some have a 4-year degree. Some just out of the military and such. And some, many come right out of high school and get a head start on it by just joining into one of our classes. We're New England born and raised. Why is that important? You know, Lee and his organization, which we've worked very closely with for many years, they cover the whole country. They're very well known. Imagine America is really the premier scholarship organization, foundation in the country. And it's known from coast to coast, and they deal with thousands and thousands of schools. And we all know that it depends. If you're dealing with a school in Phoenix, it's probably going to be a little bit different environment with employers than you would in California. You know, even that little change could make a difference. Well, you can imagine the difference between North Carolina and Michigan, you know, or whatever. It's heating and air conditioning, it's electrical, nursing, all the different types of licensing. So being New England born and raised, you know, we have basically our finger on the pulse of the economy, what employers are looking for, what the job market's like, and such. So that's a good thing. Technical education for 75 years, flexible career training programs, and I'll talk about that. We have teams to support you know, your students when they come to school, which is great. We have student services. All of our staff, we have campus team directors and things like that to help and support your students, so they're in good hands. And then ACCSC, Accrediting Commission of Career Schools and Colleges, accredited. Why that's important is it really shows the integrity of our institution. They're very strict, by the way. So graduation rates, placement rates, cohort default rates, curriculum, student surveys, employer surveys, externship surveys. They're very strict, and they pour over your records extensively every 5 years. And of course, you also submit a report to them every year. Why that's important to you and to your students and their parents is that means that we have a quality company. We're a quality school. Any school that isn't accredited, that's kind of a little bit of a red flag, unless you're like a you know, a 4-week program on something. That's different. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But when they're, you know, you get into the bigger leagues like us, you need to be accredited. It also offers us the opportunity to offer your students and their parents Title IV funding, fancy name for the FAFSA, you know, educational funding, financial aid. And without that accreditation, you can't do that. So we do have our educational funding. Our mission is to really work with the committed students. These are our values, things that you look for in any school. We look for this in the students, and they look for that. They look for this in us. You see the last one there is having fun. And why that's there, it's really kind of interesting. Those of you that have visited our campuses or schools similar to ours, and will in the future visit our campuses, you will see that the culture is one of, the students are having a pretty good time. And that's because they're doing what they love to do. Again, we don't have any GE requirements. So when George comes to a school, or Sally, and let's say Sally decides to take medical assisting, she can go right in there and she can do the phlebotomy and the sterilization of equipment. She's going to learn how to do an EKG. If they're in dental, they'll be doing their x-rays, things like that. And they're working within their major, in their major only, and they're getting traction. They're learning and they're growing and they're getting traction in that and getting confidence. And of course, that elevates their fun factor, which is really good. Our vision is to grow again with quality and integrity, which we do. These are our 8 campus locations. So we're located in Western Mass and Chicopee, Central Mass and Worcester, and they were 20 minutes outside of Boston at our Brockton campus. We also have a campus in Enfield, which is close to the airport. We have a campus in Bridgeport, Hamden, and New London, and Waterbury. And I'm speaking to you right now from the Waterbury campus. Our New London campus right now is located on Bank Street, which is, if you know New London, it's a quaint little downtown. It's a relatively smaller campus, and we've outgrown that campus, and we're relocating the 470 Bank Street over to the mall that you see. I guess you could call it a shopping mall. It's right on 95 as you go down 95 on both sides. On the left-hand side, if you're heading north, you're going to see the Outback Steakhouse and the supermarket and stuff. On the right side, you'll see Staples and such. So we're actually very, very excited about it, and we expect to have our grand opening in about 3 or 4 weeks. So it's been quite an undertaking, and again, growing and such. We already have some really, really great contacts with Electric Boat. We already had them anyway, but right now we have a welding program that we offer that's in Bridgeport now, and it's also going to be premiering in New London, and so we're pretty excited about that. So let's keep going here, and I'm going to kind of hit the gas. Okay, where are our graduates working? This is a small sampling of some of the companies. You can see Pratt & Whitney's in there. Who would be working at Pratt & Whitney? It'd be our CAD students, a lot of, computer-aided drafting students, maybe some of our electrical students and such. Then you can see, the medical groups. That would be our medical assistants, our LPNs, perhaps maybe some dental assistants. They'd be working at some of the dental. You can see them. Again, automotive. So there's a little representation there, but we have, thousands of employers in our databases that we work with the students with. Career Services is actually a full-time job, a full-time department within Porter and Chester Institute. There is no outsourcing of our graduates. Some schools outsource them because it's a lot to, really get a really, really top-notch career service department is not an easy thing to do. And we've had one for, gosh, many, many years. It's important that they have the allegiance to the student and to the school. So actually on the second day. So the second day that the students come to school, we start working with them in the career services department. The career service advisor introduces themselves to the students. We meet with them during the course of their year here and go over some seminars with them. We go do some role playing. Of course, we do the resume, which is important. And then of course we have our databases, and we work with the students and matching them up with interviews and such. I do point out that there's 2 things that we do not guarantee, and no school should, and we certainly don't, never have. And that's we never guarantee financial aid, and we never guarantee a job. What we do say is that we will do everything we possibly can to help the student, and then of course students qualify for what they qualify based on their FAFSA for educational funding. But I will tell you that when our students are coming out, my goodness, in automotive, those of you that are familiar with Hoffman Motors, most of us are, in New England, yeah, their marquee sign out there now, at least a couple of weeks ago, it had a flashing sign there that said there was a sign-on bonus of $10,000 for any automotive technician. The plumbers, electricians, we get it all the time. When's your next group coming out? So it's a great position for the graduates to be in. Okay, let's talk about Imagine America. Again, I just want to emphasize, you know, I call them IA. I'm really familiar with them. You know, all of us do over here. Is that they are just it's probably one of the most important things that we deal with, because it gives the student money, which everybody needs that, of course, and it also gives them self-esteem. And I could tell you so many stories about students that are sitting there in the educational funding financial aid office, and then all of a sudden they find out, oh my goodness, there's another $1,000 I can get. What do I have to do, to get the $1,000? And then they listen to the video, and there's some criteria involved with it. You're involved in it, and stuff. And then when they get that, they just feel so fulfilled. It's self-esteem too. Maybe they didn't get an A in algebra or geometry like I didn't, but they got a scholarship, and that makes a real big difference to them. And there's a lot of tears oftentimes with that. To the right of that is a scholarship opportunity that Porter and Chester offers the graduates of that given year. So for example, in 2023, any student that graduates in 2023 will be eligible for a $2,000 tuition grant. So you can stack that as well. You can put the Imagine America together with the PCI scholarship, and now you're talking about some serious percentage of the overall tuition coming out of scholarships. All right, trades. So here are our three divisions: trades, healthcare, and technology. And again, there's 2 slides per program, and I got to fly through them pretty quickly once I get to them, which is 2 or 3 slides from now. And again, you go to porterchester.edu, and then you can kind of really do a deep dive on any one of these majors. So we have 3 modes of delivery: hybrid, which is our learning online and lab on campus, and those are the programs. Online is the second one, and that's computer-aided drafting and design, computer network technology, and then MBC, the medical billing and coding. We also have a vet tech program out of Pennsylvania and a respiratory therapy program out of Pennsylvania that's also eligible to work with on the online. And then what ends up happening in both of them, when they have to perform their clinical duties, we can work with them and find a clinical site wherever they're located. We have respiratory therapy students out of our Altoona campus that come from really a lot of different states around the country. That's online. And then on campus, 100% on campus, is the electrical program in Massachusetts, the practical nursing program, and then the welding program. So those are the 3 modes of delivery. All right, so the first slide that we have here is dental assisting. And the courses, again, are delivered hybrid. They learn how to assist the dentist, chairside procedures, doing x-rays. Again, we all know what they do. They're standing next to the dentist, and they're helping us, to deliver the service. The tuition is $18,544. The length is 10 months long, and you can see over here the growth is about 8% in the next 10 years. Now, the thing that I'll point out here in this slide, but it applies to all the rest of them, is the tuition. It's $18,544. Now, there's an asterisk there. It says down below here, financial aid is available to those who qualify, and also student fees are not included. So the $18,544, you have to put on a couple of thousand, not a lot. It's like a couple of thousand, and that's for the ebooks, uniforms, consumables, and then the electronic device that they have. So we could call about 20, maybe 20,000, maybe 20,500, in around that range, and that's it. That's it. 20,500. It's 10 months long. The scholarships come off the top of that. You work with the FAFSA and you work with our financial aid department, and they graduate with very, very little student debt compared to a lot of situations. And they also graduate into a job environment and culture that is pretty robust, which is really, really what we're looking for. Medical assisting, similar to dental assisting, it's the front office and the back office. So they learn how to take patients' histories and terminology and insurance forms and things like that. And then they can also do the clinical side. They can do the phlebotomy, so they can draw blood. They can do the EKGs, and sterilization and all that. So it's really a very, very important function. They serve in HMOs, walk-in medical centers, hospitals, ambulatory, fancy word for just, individual medical offices of whatever specialty. Tuition, the tuition is $18,384, 10 months long, very similar, and it's got a little bit bigger growth. Okay, let's go on to the next one, practical nursing. Practical nursing is a program that is offered in, let's see, it's offered in Bridgeport, it's offered in Waterbury, it's offered in Hamden, and in those 3 campuses. And it's what it says, you know, it's practical nursing. The thing about it is, if you ever see it, we cannot say that we offer a LPN program. We offer a practical nursing program, because if you look down here, we prepare them to take the NCLEX test. That's your licensing exam. So students take our practical nursing program, and then when they graduate, after they graduate from us, then they, you know, they practice, and they practice when they're here. They practice and practice and practice when they're here. Then when they get out there and they take the NCLEX test, once they pass the NCLEX test, then you can put an L in front of that. And then they become a licensed practical nurse. The reason I say that is I had one time somebody say, well, you know, Jack, you said, you know, you had an LPN program, but I didn't see it. Well, that's a difference. So our practical nursing curriculum is all approved by the Board of Nursing Examiners in the state of Connecticut. It's all of our programs that are licensed are all approved by the state of Connecticut for their related instruction hours. So they take that curriculum, they pass that NCLEX test, and they're on their way, and they do very, very well, as we know. This program's a little bit longer. It's 15 months long. Here's your tuition. And again, you're going to put on top of that, you know, your scrubs and things like that. And then you've got your ebooks and such. And then the growth. All right, medical billing and coding, MBC, we call it. This one here, what I like about this program is that it really serves the student that really doesn't want to maybe do the clinical portion, but they do want to get involved in medical. It's not an easy course. It's a tough course, actually, and it's all online, and it's actually out of our YTI campus. It's not for everybody, but it's very popular. It's how to basically manage insurance claims and create medical records, and, you know, coding, like down below here, the ICD, that's the diagnostic, D for diagnostic 10. And so making sure that the doctor or the hospital or whatever it is, the urgent care center, they put in the correct information and then they build it correctly. So have to be a great communicator and a bit of a negotiator. And we all, maybe if you've ever had an opportunity to work with somebody like that and they got your medical bill down, you can see how valuable they are. They are extremely valuable to the medical practice because they bring in the money and they can solve problems quickly, cut deals, do what they have to do to make sure that, you know, everything is legal, everything is accurate, everything is perfect. So you got to be detail oriented and a great communicator. And if you are, oftentimes you can work from a remote setting. There's all types of opportunities. Here's your tuitions. It's a little under 18 grand. It's 10 months long, and that's it again. So I, point that out. You know people. I know people. I know relatives that they still have 6 figures in student debt. And in this case here, you can imagine you take a program like this for like 18 grand, and then you get a little help from scholarships and stuff, and then you're out there. So it's a vast difference. And that's where we fill the bill. This automotive program, it's a lot of computers now. It's not what people think it is in by far. 27,525, 12 months long, steady growth. Great program. HVAC-R, the R stands for refrigeration. Well, a lot of people used to say, oh, it's HVAC. No, we got to toss that R in there. That's refrigeration. So it could be, working for the large supermarket chains, right? Refrigeration. You get your ice cream, your TV dinners, you have walk-in coolers, you have restaurants. Refrigeration is in itself is a whole career. So it's gas and it's oil. Again, all the principles required. The math is applied, so it's part of the curriculum in all of our programs. And then we'll go into electrical. This one here is super hot, super hot, and very popular. We have students out there that once they get their license, and you can get an E license, E2 license, they get their licenses. Some of them, we have a lot of students. I talked to some of these guys and gals, they're buying their first house and they're like in their mid-20s, Tuition here, you can see it. You can see the length again and the growth. And then low voltage is, it's like security systems, fire alarm systems. So you might work for, a banking type of thing. A lot of security. That's huge these days, of course, we know. And it's a low voltage program. And then we have plumbing. Say no more, right? Plumbing's, boy, for them to walk in your house, it's $200. And they know what they're doing. Again, it's a licensed trade. Our curriculum is approved by the state of Connecticut. So all they need to do is graduate from Porter and Chester and go out and get their hours, and they'll be all set. And welding, we know about. It's all different types of welding there. Again, porterchester.edu, do a deep dive and you'll see a lot more. Computer-aided drafting, if you have any students that have a little bit of the artistic type of thing going on, good spatial perception, they will enjoy this one. Here's your tuition, here's your length, and there's it's an online program. Students love it. CNT, banks. One of the students that I was talking to about 6 months ago got a great job with Webster Bank. We're all familiar with Webster. And that's going to be it. Steps to success. So we have a great soft skills. We teach a lot of communication and the soft skills. Financial aid we talked about. We have a separate division that will be working with each student. Our admissions process is all online. So a student will go, they'll apply online, and then they'll get their invitation to go create their FSA ID. Once they create their FSA ID, then they can do their FAFSA. They have their FAFSA complete. Again, we meet with them, collaborate with them, and then that's where Imagine America comes into play. And in the Porter Chester Scholarship, and we work together with each individual person to find a program that works for them. Applications are accepted throughout the year. 5 starts per year. Students are encouraged to apply early. Generally, the high school students will go in July. They'll go in July, August, or October, and that's important because the Porter Chester Scholarship, you have to enroll for July, August, or October to get that particular scholarship. And then to apply online, again, you go to porterchester.edu. Hey, thanks again, for listening to me and let me deliver this information to you. Lee, it's all yours.
All right, great. Thank you, Jack. And we are now going to open this up for the Q&A portion of our presentation. So if you have a question for either myself or Jack, please feel free to type it in the chat feature or the Q&A feature. Jack, the first question has to do with your programs. They want to know which of the programs you think is most popular for graduating high school seniors.
I'd say right now, electrical is extremely hot, and it always has been for many, many years. And so I'd say right now it's electrical, and it's probably side by side with medical assisting is very popular as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. Second question has to do with federal financial aid. Does your school allow students to apply for the FAFSA in order to attend?
Oh, sure. Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's part of it. So we'll serve up a that link will come to them, and for their FSA ID, they get their FSA ID. That's basically their key into the government website, and then they go into the government website, fill out their FAFSA, and again, the parents will be involved in that as well. Okay,
great. Third question. This is a question we kind of get pretty frequently. And it's about comparisons with community colleges. So can you kind of talk about how, what separates Porter and Chester Institute from a community college? Let's say, somebody says, oh, I can go to a community college and get this medical assisting degree, same thing. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we hear that often, very, very often. It's a great question, by the way. It is a different experience. For some, it's a better experience. It's certainly a lot cheaper. But it's generally it could take a lot longer to do that. And maybe it's a different type of delivery. Again, when you go to porterchester.edu and you can take a look at some of our curriculum and stuff, we follow a very strict and a very structured curriculum so that the students come in and they just go they flow through it. They don't get interrupted, have to change courses and that type of thing. I have several friends that work in the community college field, and it's a little bit of a different animal. We do have a lot of students that finish their associate's degree, or maybe they do a couple of courses and come to us, and vice versa. We're huge in being a lifelong learner. I tell all the students, when you graduate from us, if you're an electrician, go take a business class, a communication class. So be a lifelong learner.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I think that concludes all of our questions. So just a few house cleaning items here. I have recorded this session and will be sending a recording out to you likely tomorrow morning. I will be sure to include Jack's contact information in that email with your recording so that you can contact him if you want somebody from Porter and Chester to come to your school and talk to your students. We will also be conducting a follow-up survey. When you leave this meeting, there is an exit survey if you wouldn't mind answering those questions. I think it's only 4 questions, multiple choice. Any of your feedback would be greatly, greatly appreciated. We do these types of presentations across the country. So telling us a little bit more about maybe something you wanted to hear, but you didn't hear, or something you really liked or pulled from this presentation would be very helpful to us. But before closing, I just want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. And I'd also like to thank Jack for sharing with us today's presentation, and encourage you to contact him directly with any future questions you might have. But on behalf of the foundation, Jack and myself, I want to wish you a great rest of your day, and goodbye.